Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay. So yesterday I was talking about Docker, and I want to show you an example. Here's an example. This is from the what they call Docker Hub, and this is where you can find many Docker packages. This is the one for Tezos, which we've looked at in the past, and this was created by the Tezos people. Notice it's up to date. Only 3 days ago it was updated. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you have Docker on your machine. And there are multiple ways of doing that, depending on what kind of a machine you have. I did the simplest way, which they not necessarily recommended way, because I'm using the apt-get install to put Docker on there. Not necessarily, sudo snap. And it was the newer one. As I said, there are other ways of doing it, but we have Docker on the machine. And then the next thing you have to do is get the software. So, actually, I didn't show you that. Let me show you. So we have Docker on the machine, and I did let's see, what did I do? Sudo snap install, because snap was a version newer. Again, you have to be careful with that because it can be an old version. And like I said, on the Docker site, they tell you various ways installing it. Once you have Docker on your machine, you need to get the software. And Tezos makes it very easy. Basically, you get one of these Docker pulls. Very simple, the Docker application, and you pull it. It also conveniently goes through all the information, let's see. So I don't know exactly, because I was hoping it would say, okay, this is master. Okay. So I'm going to try it. I may have to do a little hunting to actually get it up and running, but I'm going to use the basic techniques about getting Docker up, a Docker app up. So here you can now see, and we're going to do a Docker pull. And sometimes they actually give you the command to, interesting. Very interesting. Oh, you know what? No, I'm logged in. Let's try this. And I'm going to have to do this on another, actually, I have it on my phone. I'm going to have a little look at my phone here and figure out what my Docker, I think it's on my phone, figure out what my Docker ID is, or my Docker password. So, let's see. I did not realize I had to be logged in here. Okay. So let me go. It looks like it's in, let me do this. You hopefully. Just going to paste it on in here. And no, it did not like that. Oh well, I'm going to have to look into that. I was using pulling from Docker hubs all day today, in taking that class, and this does not seem to want to let me. So anyway, you would pull it, and there are, let me show you some of the Docker commands, even though we can't, so you have the main thing. They kind of divided it up into two, like management commands and then subcommand type stuff. So you have container. So to run it would be like Docker run container, Docker container run, and you can do things like, where are the options, is -rm, which means that when you're done, it's gonna make it go away. Why am I not seeing? Here it is, rm. So you would do rm. That means when you're done running, it's not going to stay there. You can also interact with it. There's also a -d. I don't know if I'm seeing that for daemon. I don't know why they're not showing all the options here. The -d means it's going to kind of run in the background, or you can do a -it if you're going to interact, which you wouldn't in this case. But anyway, that's a very convenient, if you can get in there. I honestly do not know why it would not let me pull it, but if you can pull it, it is a very good way to, very easy way to get running. Now, I'm trying to see if they have getting started using Docker images. Here we go. So I guess they do it a little bit different than the typical way. So let's see if this is gonna work to run on testnet. Let's try this. Let's see if we can get this puppy going. All right. And can do that. Oh wait, are you seeing this? Well, you'll see it because, let's see. Yeah, you're seeing as I put the commands in. So now we're going to make it executable. And now hopefully she'll start. Okay, so what this is going to do is handle it for you. I think it is not going to let me. Oh, I see the problem. Yes. Okay. So let's go into, let's see, do we have a, this is not good security practice, but to get this going, that may have been the problem. Now, let's go back. There we go. So you can see it's pulling it down. This is going to actually pull down Docker, and that probably explains why I could not, or possibly explains why I couldn't do a Docker pull, that it had some files that were kind of blocked, that I didn't have permission, which means I probably installed something as root. It didn't like it, and you can see now it is so again. So now it's hopefully we'll get everything down and we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see. Home Wendy. That's interesting. Did not like that. Interesting. Well, I need to have a look at this, because if you look, theoretically, I have read and write access on that entire, it could be that I'm not in the right group. I did that. Well, so as to not, I'm going to have to look into this. For some reason, it did not, let me see what the error. Permission denied. And my guess is, I don't know how it was running, because I may have to, I'm not sure who was running it, because it obviously, I think you may have had to create a group. So I'm going to have to look into this. But in general, the point is here that you can, let me bring the instructions back up. The point here is that you can run Tezos. You can use Tezos from Docker. It looks like it's trying to run it in kind of a different user other than myself, because I have, if you looked at the directory, I have read and write permission, and these files were not files that should have needed any kind of execute permission. So anyway, to give you an example of how you can use or at a project that uses Docker to maintain their software. And let me see something. Well, let's see what we got. Okay, now I'm getting into the wrong page. But Docker is definitely something that's becoming very popular, and you may see more of them. This is not the only project that's going to be using it, and while we ran into some glitches today because of the way their permissions are, but you can see they have a script that just pulls everything down, and once you can just then start it up. Once the permission. My guess is if I turned around and just gave everyone read and write permissions on that directory, it would probably work. But this will, you can see how easy that is. Once the permissions issues are out of the way, it got everything down, and when it works right, you should just be able to just start it right up. You don't have to build anything or anything like that. It's all together. And if you look at the script, let's see, in the scripts, this script, let me see if I can find it. Tezos Docker Manager. There's also something called Docker Compose, and it can make sure that the file that it needs to get, you have the file that actually puts everything together and the file that knows how to run everything. And the Docker file puts it together. The Compose file is where you tell it how to run it. Because what it does is these commands here, let me make sure you're seeing it, yeah. These commands here, like image name, host name, ports, all this stuff, is stuff you would give on the Docker command line. So anyway, hopefully this has been interesting and just adds a little real-world perspective to what I was talking about last night. And I will speak to you next time. Take care.